All right. Hope you're all doing all right. Today I bring you yet another edition of our NBA Fantasy Salary Cap edition. It's game week 3, and we are on day 2 going to day 3. So we had a couple of games last night, of course, and it was epic for the one Chicago Bulls. So looking at the points that we had, actually, let's start with the games that were in the mix last night. So we had 6 games, and of course the Milwaukee Bucks kicked off the night's games. They took on Toronto Raptors, and of course ended up losing that one. Of course, we know also before the game, we knew that Giannis Antetokounmpo was not feeling all right. So we're assuming also that, of course, played into his underwhelming performance. Yeah. So they ended up losing against Toronto Raptors. The final score was 100 to 128. Giannis Antetokounmpo was in the mix. He scored 22 points in that one. And of course, I would wager to say this was his worst performance so far this season. Yeah, because this is 60, 68, um, 84, 68. Then he didn't play against the Golden State Warriors. Then 50, 59, 62, and of course last night 39. So I think he needed some rest because the Indiana Pacers game, you remember, was a nail biter. It was down to his final mid-range shot that, of course, he dropped and saw them win that game by just 2 points, 115 to 117 against Indiana Pacers. So against Toronto Raptors, Giannis scored 22 points, 8 rebounds. He didn't even average a double-double in this one, and then 3 assists, and of course a total of 39 points. Wow. I think he's just getting tired. Of course, RJ Barrett was the highest scorer for the Toronto Raptors. He scored 48 points right there. Then Scotty Barnes, our former contender of Player of the Night, had 56 points and, of course, scored 23 in the game right there. The kids love Mamu. Sandro Mamu Keleshvili. I'm just mentioning him because he has a cool name. That's all. Actually, he also has a good price, good salary right there. So if you can, why not have a cool guy's name on your on your on your team? So this is Ryan Rollins. He gave me 21 points. I have him on my team, and yeah, managed to score 11 points in the game and 5 assists. It's a moderate score actually for him. It's actually also his worst game he has had so far this season. So that's how that game went. Then, of course, there came the Orlando Magic taking on Atlanta Hawks. And of course, Hawks managed to grab this one. And Zachary Ricochet right there with 30 points, fantasy points in the game, and 21 points in the game that he scored for the Atlanta Hawks. Dayson Daniels, the usual suspect. I think he is now zeroed in the 40s because he has averaged 40 points in the last 3 games, scoring 18 in the last 3 games. Interesting. And of course, his steals are still high because you see he had 3, 4, 2 in the last 3 games. Then Paulo Banquero could not save his team this time round. They lost to Atlanta Hawks, but he came through with a 52 piece after scoring 22 in the game and 3 rebounds right there. It was a double-double for him and 8 assists in that one. Then the Silver, on and off, I wouldn't say you should get him. It's just one of those games for him. Hans Wagner, Franz Wagner right there with 27 points. A bad game for him. Uh, Managing to score 18 points in that game, but they ended up losing to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks that didn't even have their star player. Porzingis is there, he's playing, he's contributing, which is good. He's averaging 15 points right there. And yeah, I guess it works for them. I guess it works for them. Then the game of the night, I dare to say, Philly took on Chicago Bulls. Now let us see this game. Remember, Chicago Bulls are having a resurgence and becoming a bit nostalgic, remembering the good old days of Michael Jordan. Let's first see their stats at the moment as we speak before we get into their highlights. So I just want to see, just hold on. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to flip through the pages right here. So the Chicago Bulls are actually leading in the Eastern Conference. They are the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. They have only lost a single game since the season started. Sorry, since the season started, and of course, at the end of tonight, it was actually a top two clash. Chicago Bulls taking on Philadelphia in the Western Conference. So that's why I'm saying this was the game of the day. So you see right there, they had only lost one game and won five. Then, of course, Philly had also lost one game and won five. So it was a tie right there. So that set it up for an amazing game. But okay, let's try to go back. Just hold that for a second. Okay, so we see in the game, it was decided by just 2 points in the end. Philly losing that one to the Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddy was crazy. Of course, Maxi also as well. He started a very good season. I'm even tempted to getting him, but I may be a Johnny come lately with him because his salary is actually going higher and higher with each day that passes. But if you to look at his numbers, they have been amazing. And we actually saw a glimpse of his talent last season when he was fit enough to play. But I do not know why I was not drawn to him. But yeah, my bad. Guys, you should go get him. He's having a very good start to his season. And he will be a very good addition to your team. And Josh Giddy as well. If you can get Josh Giddy into your team as soon as possible, please do. Because this kid is awesome. He just set a brand new record, becoming the first Bulls player to post a back-to-back triple-double since guess who? The GOAT, the man, the legend, the one and only Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, right there. So Giddy becoming, that's why I was telling you, it's becoming reminiscent of those good old days when Jordan rocked that Bulls jersey. So it's amazing what Josh Giddy is doing on court. And of course, he passed Scottie Pippen for the second most 2-point doubles in Bulls history. Wow, that's Josh Giddy right there setting the records. Amazing. So Josh Giddy scored 71 points in the game, and in the game he scored 71 point fantasy, 71 fantasy points in that game against Philly. And of course, in the game, managed to score 29 points, 15 rebounds, which is actually a triple double with his 12 assists right there. Looking at Tyrese Maxey had 66 points, fantasy points in the game, scoring 39, nearly 40 piece in that game. 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Wow, this kid was awesome. And of course, Embiid was present as well. I'd hoped he wouldn't play, but well, managed to suit up and play, scoring 20 in that game, 51 points accumulated. K Ubre right there with 37 fantasy points, scoring 18 in the game. Of course, without a mention, we have to mention VJH.com with 12 points in the game and a total of 37 points. 3 rebounds, that's a double. I mean, 11 rebounds, that's a double double for the young lad right there. But of course, it wasn't enough to handle the likes of Josh Giddy. And actually, you can see that this was a one-man team. It was Josh Giddy, because Vucevic showed up as well. But Josh Giddy took the bulk chunk of the points right there for the Chicago Bulls. So I have the highlights. I just hope this machine does not misbehave as it wants to. So that's Josh Giddy right there as he was leading the Bulls. And of course, the surprise appearance as Bozelli right there as they walked into. And then here comes the toss. The jump ball was won by Embiid Vucevic right there. Okay, we shall come back to this. Let's carry Uble with his first steal. We shall come back to that. Let's look at some of the games as we give the machine more time to gather its emotions. It's becoming emotional on me. Alright, so then we had the Charlotte Hornets taking on New Orleans Pelicans. This one was also a close one at the end. And of course, Mikal Bridges right there, 22 points for the Charlotte Hornets. Of course, they lost the game again, also separated by just 4 points. But of course, finally, the New Orleans Pelicans managed to win their game. But surprisingly, they didn't even have their star player present in this one. Could he be the reason why they are losing? Because that's a jack. So, and neither did the Charlotte Hornets have LaMelo Ball, and of course, they actually lost without LaMelo. All right, then of course we had the Golden State Warriors getting back to their winning ways. Steph Curry right there with 28 points in that one right there. But still, I wouldn't advise you to get this man. He's too expensive and he's irregular. He's irregular, and even though he scores highly, I mean, it just takes too much because all he does is score, really. So if he can score, if he can average 50 points or 55 points in a game, that's always what he will get, because these things like steals, blocks, you will not get them from Steph Curry. You will not get them from Steph Curry. It's an entertaining player to watch, of course, if you're on his side. You can get off with a flurry of threes which can destroy you down a team. So, yeah, he's what we call the baby-faced assassin himself. So, but in the game, he managed to get 44 points and, of course, help Golden State Warriors to win that game against Devin Booker's Phoenix Suns right there. All right. So then, of course, the final game were the defending champions. Actually, Oklahoma City Thunders is actually one of the teams that have not yet lost a single game this season. Just want to show you the table standings in the Western Conference right there. They have 8 in all. I think they are the only team left standing at the moment. Chicago Bulls lost, Philly lost their game. Then, of course, Wembenyama San Antonio Spurs also lost their game. So Oklahoma is actually cruising The win percentage is actually 1. They have not lost a single game. It's 8-0 and counting for Oklahoma City Thunders. So in the Western Conference, of course, we see San Antonio Spurs in second place, LA Lakers. I don't know why people are giving them lower odds of winning the title, yet they have Luka. But anyway, there it is. Denver Nuggets, of course, Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors. And then the play-in tournament teams are currently Minnesota Timberwolves, Portland Trail Blazers, Utah Jazz, and LA Lakers. Then, of course, the ones that are struggling this season, Memphis, Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, Dallas, and New Orleans Pelicans, who finally got their first win right there, you see, in the game that I showed you earlier on to last night when they were playing against Charlotte Hornets right there. That was their first win in the game. So this was a blowout. Oklahoma City Thunders beat LA Clippers 126 to 107. James Harden 30 points, sorry for goal, SGA in that one, and of course a total of 67. So you can guess who the player of the night was if you can, right there. So he even had a double in that one with his 12 assists for his team. Then, of course, James Harden starting to get consistency. So maybe it's time to bring him in if you are interested. He managed to score 25 points in the game and, of course, 46 points right there for his fantasy points. So that wrapped up the games. Let's see if I can get you some highlights. So this is the Philly game. So this was a thriller. That is Tyree Maxey. Remember, he is the leading scorer, second actually, behind Giannis Antetokounmpo in the points per game this season. So right there with this is in the first half. So I'm going to skip towards the end. That's Tyree Maxey in the corner shot. All right, so let's skip towards the fourth quarter. So this is 1 minute towards the end. And you can see that the Bulls are actually trailing. They come rallying, just Josh Giddey with a rebound. Pass to Berzelius with a shot. And of course, that brings it to 3 points. Edgecombe with a... All right, that's Berzeli with... Oh, that's Josh Giddey. Blows by and kicks it out for a 3 for Shade. That's Tyree Maxey. You can see 76ers have the lead. That's an and one. Okay. This is Josh Giddey. So the Bulls are going to rally. That's another 3. Tyree Maxey, bounce pass. Vucevic for Perseli. Perseles, Vucevic with a tip in. As Tyree Maxey through to Embiid. Vucevic on him. Nice strip. And then, of course, Josh Giddey with the ball to Josh Giddey. Pass. Oh, that's a goaltend. We got Embiid with a full shot. T. Jones with a rebound. Pass to Barzelas. Embiid with a block right there. So this is 2 minutes towards the end. And that's Giddy basket. It's a 1-point game right there. Seconds on the clock, Josh Giddey with the ball. Just a 1-point difference right there. Josh Giddey choosing to take the ball. Looks for Berzeli but fails to get him. So they have time. Tyree Maxey crosses across the court. Slows it down. Just 12-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Okay. Just trying to eat some clock right there. Grimes with a scream. Brzelli pulls a three. Nice block. Call a timeout. Now they can take the final shot right there. Remember, it's a 1 point game. That's Josh Giddey with the right. Vucevic, basket. Hey, look at that. Wow. Vucci main right there. Remember, this is the fight between the top seeds in the Eastern, sorry. Grimes had a clear shot but failed to win the game right there. Wow. Wow. What a game. What a game. Vucevic wins it for his Bulls. Bucci main. The Ray Dazzler. Wow. What a game. That was an awesome game right there. Then, of course, some highlights just to look at how the Hornets managed to beat Charlotte Hornets. I mean, Hornets managed to beat New Orleans Pelicans. Sorry, this was the first win for the Pelicans in the this season. Remember, they are at the bottom of the Western Conference, and they had no wins prior to this game. So this was a big deal. They didn't even have their best player full court. Okay, it's freezing. I just wanted to show you the last 3 minutes of this game, but maybe we shall come back to it. All right, so just flipping through. Let's see. Okay, so in the game, of course, I had 4 players that featured for me. I managed, of course, to be above average, 128 in the game right there. And of course, the average score was 117. So, Chicago's Charlotte Hornets, Kalk Burney gave me 40 points. And of course, AJ Mitchell gave me 30, Edgecombe 37, and Rollins 21 right there for me. So it wasn't a bad game week, all in all. So let's have a look at the lineup tonight. So tonight will be game day 3, and I will have George in. Kirk Bonny will go to the bench, and I'm bringing in, of course, Nikola Jokic, who will be taking on hits. Reeves is out, he's injured, but I'm going to put him in. If he doesn't play, he will be subbed. So I am not going to risk not having him playing and not having him on my squad. So he's in. So, and of course, I've already taken a hit for him, so I cannot afford not to have him play. So Wembenyama will be playing against the Lakers. So let's see. Who should I play? George or just want to see their average points. I think I'm gonna play George. Let's go big with the Bucks. So the player to let go of is gonna be Ejenicho. Okay. So let's arrange the bench. Choose holiday. Okay, I know what to do. I'm going to remove these players, the rookies. The rookies are going to go on the bench. So just need to put in this holiday for age home. Yeah. So age home Mitchell in that order. And also this one right here. Okay, so that's the squad that is going to play tonight for me. Okay, so it's between George and these rookies, but I'm tempted to go with the rookies. I mean with George and the rookies to be subbed in should there be need for that. Okay, so that's the squad. So a look at the player of the night. Can you guess who that is? Going once, going twice. Here is our player of the night, and you guessed it right if you guessed Josh Giddy. Josh Giddy bringing back the good old days back at in Chicago, and of course reminding us of who the greatest player in the NBA history is. That is Michael Jordan right there. Because remember, he has actually become the first player to post a back-to-back triple-double since Michael Jordan in Chicago, right there after beating Philadelphia 76ers 111, 100 to 113 for the Chicago Bulls. And you can see his numbers right there. Uh, this season thus far, he scored 23.1 points per game. He's actually averaging a double double and falls short of a triple double just by 9 points. Yeah, so he has 23.1 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 9.1 assists per game. And in the game, of course, he had managed to score 29 points, got 15 rebounds, and 12 assists with a single steal, which totals up to 71 points right there. So that was our player of the night. And of course, that of course wraps up game day two. Looking at the other high performers, the top five performers, of course, in the front court we had Scott Barnes who scored 56, Paula Banchero scored 52, Joel Embiid 51, RJ Barrett 48, D Queen 46 is a new Orleans Pelican right there, contributing towards their best game so far, which saw them record their first win of the season. Then in the backcourt, of course, the player of the night, that is Josh Giddy, wrapping up 71 points right there after they downed the 76ers. Then, of course, the reigning MVP, Shea Alexander, 67. Then, of course, the high flyer, Tyrese Maxey, 66. Devin Booker, 52. James Harden, 46, right there. So, game day three will be on tonight as we shall have the Celtics taking on the Washington Wizards, then Brooklyn Nets taking on Indiana Pacers, then Cleveland will be taking on the 76ers, New Orleans Pelicans will be saying Cooper flag and coup. Then the Denver Nuggets will be taking on Miami Heat, Detroit will be taking on Utah Jazz, the Kings will be taking on Golden State Warriors. You should be able to field a full team tonight because most of the teams are actually playing. So, or at least four players if all is not well with your squad. Then, of course, Houston Rockets taking on Memphis. Yeah, so those are the games. Lakers will be taking on Wembenyama, so that's a crucial one, guys. You should look out for that one. All right, so those are the games that we have tonight. So looking at the most picked up players, people are going for Wendy again, Tyree Maxey, jump onto the bandwagon if you can. Josh Giddy, those are the guys you should get. They are a bit expensive, but you can build around them, especially Tyrese Maxey. All right, people are getting rid of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, he had that knock, but then it didn't stop him from playing. But you could see that it affected his game. It was his lowest scoring game on the night. If you to see what he scored, that's 39. If you to look at what he's been averaging and scoring over time, this was his worst game right there. Steph Curry, please get rid of. Unless if you're a fan, but I wouldn't advise getting. Austin Reeves got injured. He has a groin issue, so you can, I don't know, get rid of him. Unlike me, who is stuck with him because I've got him instead of Luca. Now I have to pay the price. It is a sad, sad week for me. But I'm going to be strong until next week when I'm able to get rid of him, or maybe hopefully return. So Zion Williams is also injured, which you could say helped the Pelicans win their first game. So sorry to say this, but I mean they won the game, and he was around since the season started and playing so well. To be quite honest, he was playing well and he looked fit and fine. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to help the team. Then Matthias Bozelis, right there, with capping up the people that are have been transferred out. So that is it, fellas. We are done for game day 2, and of course, look at the anticipated game day 3. That is my squad. I'm going big at the back with Wembenyama, Nikola Jokic, Keisha Jones, Jules Holiday, and Austin Reeves, who I don't think is going to play, but I've been wrong before. I hope he plays, but if he doesn't, all in all, I have a good bench. I have Edgecombe, Mitchell, and Mino. All right, guys, that is it. That wraps up our edition. Until next time, peace out.